It's all very expensive. Do you know that it's $100 billion a year problem in,
Oh,
in the
easy,
industry?
easy. Yeah.
And and it's underreported. It's underreported and it's $100 billion a year problem. What does that tell you? It gets labeled other things. Oh, I have a headache. Let me get some Tylenol. Oh, I'm tired. Let me grab an energy drink. And what happens in that cycle is you're not deficient in energy drink. You're not deficient in Tylenol. You're deficient in sodium. You're deficient in potassium. You're deficient in electrolytes. You're deficient in the thing that balances everything out.
What is going on, L&M family? Back again. And I just got to warn you, you better be ready for some energy because today's guest, she's bringing the energy. Not just on the call, she is making a living and an impact on the industry, helping leaders restore what depletion steals. And we're going to dig into that. She's got a background in sports medicine, and she's bringing those performance principles to industrial athletes. I love that. And we're going to figure out exactly what an industrial athlete is. She's a leader in the restoration movement. She is the founder of JMAR Solutions. Her name is Jennifer Martinez. And I'm like, for real, I apologize if we melt the internet because of our combined energy. I'm blaming it on her, but I'm also going to apologize. And so
Yes.
we're going to get to know Miss Jennifer here. And if this is your first time here, you're listening to the Learnings and Missteps podcast, where you get a first-hand look at how amazing human beings, just like you, are sharing their gifts and talents to leave this world better than they found it. I'm Jesse, your selfish servant, and we are about to get to know Miss Jennifer Martinez. Miss Jennifer, how are you?
There is nothing selfish about you. What is that? Oh my goodness. Come on now. You can't do a podcast and all the things that you have to do. People have no idea how difficult it is to podcast. All of the things.
Yeah.
And so it's very servant. It's very servant led, not selfish at all. Because you know what? You also have to like right now you're giving me a platform so I can speak straight into the people. That's not selfish. And I love your spirit. And thank you so much for having me on because I've been looking forward to this. You have no idea. I've been talking about it for weeks since we met on the. I knew who you were, and I've been meaning to reach out to you, but it
Right.
was like you know how life happens. You get so caught up in business and this meeting and that meeting, and I'm like, one of these days I am going to connect with him, and that was happened on the old dogs.
Yes.
Wasn't even expecting to. I'm
Yeah.
on my treadmill and I'm just going along and I hear this guy and I'm like, that's Jesse. This is a God thing.
Yeah,
He
totally,
said, what?
totally. And it seems like you're in the DFW area, correct? Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
I'm
you're in
there
San
all the
Antonio.
time.
Yeah, we're gonna get together. We have to get together. We have to like oh my gosh, could you imagine the room that we walk into? I
Hmm.
mean, with our special skills, I see that you have the same kind of writing I do in the back of you.
Yes.
If you were to see my board, it is worse.
Yeah.
I write like a toddler.
Yeah. Hey,
They
hey,
have
that's
to
right.
teach me.
Like it's the mission. Does the message get across? Does it serve and support the path of others? If it does, then I'm not worried about spelling. I ain't worried about penmanship. I just want to serve and contribute to people's paths. And so far, it's worked pretty good.
It's funny
But
that
I,
you bring
I
that up, Jesse.
go ahead.
No, I think that's great that you bring that up because so many people are so fearful
Yep.
of not being good enough, and I I feel you at my core with that. I even did a post about it to
Ye-
help our friend that was afraid to post. Remember, and it
Yes.
was very vulnerable post because I went to private school and everybody around me was like brilliant. My best friend was like the what is it what is it when you're the smartest person in the class?
Valedictorian.
That,
Yep.
see, there you
Yep.
go. And I was like in class. And
Yeah.
I was the special person. I went to special courses when I was growing up because I dyslexia and like spelling. I still can't spell. It's so frustrating. I
Yeah.
memorize everything and then I forget because now I'm 50.
Yeah. I'm right behind you, sister. So
I know.
let's go there. And I love because I got to see that post of you put it out there to like give some momentum, some wind under people's wings, because like it is kind of scary, right? We get into this thing. You're out there, you're active and visible on social media. You founded a business, and just based on energy, there's no doubt this isn't the first thing that you've taken on in your life. And so
Yeah.
for the listener out there that is like hesitant, has been questioning and overthinking starting sharing a thought or an idea, what advice or motivation do you have for them?
I have messed up so many times, and I've done presentations and done the worst presentations ever and beat myself up about it, but I connected with the right people at that presentation, so it made it okay. You've said it before, I've heard you say it before, repetition. Like, you're gonna mess up, so just go. And
Yeah.
it's okay because people actually can relate to that. I
Yes.
can't relate to perfect because I'm far from it. That's why I need Jesus. Like, right?
Yes.
And people are like, "Oh, she's a Jesus person," and I'm like, "No, I make people squirt so they don't hurt." Like, I have both sides, right? And so yeah,
No.
you just got to do it, man. You got to do it, and you got to listen. I even heard you say, I think Saturday, I watched your Saturday. I'm gonna catch one of those live, by the way. Because when I'm watching it, like the replay, I'm like, and I'm like, that's dumb. They can't see, they can't respond, and so then I'm like, delete, 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 delete. It frustrates me. It's never gonna be perfect, and if it's a message that you have, it's for you to give, and you have to just do it. My first posts were horrible. They're still
Yeah.
bad. I like I still mess up on them. I still overwork them. But it's like, sometimes I just hit send and I'm like, it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
some of my most controversial posts, what I know is truth, have gone viral.
Mhm.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? I got attacked, but I knew what the attack was from somebody who didn't understand because
Right.
they were indoctrinated. So when you get attacked like that, you come back with something positive. And I did it every time. I was like, thank you for your thoughts.
Right.
All these names that I was called, like dangerous and all these things. And I'm like, and there was other words that were a lot worse.
Oh, I'm
And I
sure.
was like, this is somebody that's in pain. I
Right.
was trying to take the other person's perspective and go, they don't have a problem with me. There's something going on with them. Have you ever
Percent.
been on a business call
Oh yeah.
and been attacked before, and just in that moment you're like, this is not a good alignment, but I'm going to be who I am.
Yep.
I'm an honorable person regardless of that person being an honorable person. And so you have to control your emotions, just be like, no, that person's in pain. We
Yes.
got off a call one time that was so bad. It was so bad. He had no idea who he was talking to. He didn't know he was talking to the owner of the company. He had no idea that I was the decision maker, and he was demeaning me. My team was like, this guy's an a-hole. And
Right.
I was like, no, we're gonna pray for him.
Mm.
And one of the other person on the call called me, later and said, that guy, da, da, da. And I go, well, we just got done praying for him because that person's in a lot of pain. And
Yeah.
it grieves my heart that he would treat somebody that way. Because I
Yeah.
don't care if you're the owner of the company or if you're the one cleaning the toilets, because I do both.
Right. Right. Right.
The only thing that God ever asks of us is to love one another.
Yep.
And love doesn't mean that everything's perfect, right? Love
Yeah.
is sacrifice. And so when someone's lashing out, to control your emotions, to say, wow, this person is really in pain and they're frustrated and all these things, and it's not me. And so it's going to happen. You're going to get attacked. You're going to mess up. And it's going to be okay because guess what? You're moving forward. Every failure I've was a forward movement. Everyone, and I learned every time, and I got it better, and my message got better. Jesse, last year was a really tough year
Yeah.
for me and my company.
Okay.
It
What happened?
was well, 2025 was my year to thrive. I got like words for every year, and it started off really, really good. And then there was so many delays on all these projects, and then there was roadblocks, and then they were unrighteous too. It wasn't right, and so then all through the year, I'm believing God for things to happen, and they're not happening. And I'm like, what am I doing
Yep.
wrong? What am I doing wrong? And you take on more things, and you're working 12-hour days, and you're trying to make it right, and you're trying to fix things, and you're like, we're not going to survive if I don't get these things done. And I was like, I finally in November said, I've never said this word in my life. I want to quit. I literally had a conversation with God, and my conversations with God are like my kids, like with my kids or with my friends. I'm like, God, I can't do this anymore. And he said, you're right. You can't, but I can. and it flipped the switch. It flipped it because I was trying to do everything on my part. I was trying to build something, and his every rejection was his protection,
Yep.
and every roadblock was not the right time. And if I had gotten some of those projects that I was wanting to get at that time,
Mm-hmm.
it would have failed, and it would have failed at a level that was not good.
That you couldn't come back.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think
so
there's you use the word quit. What I'm hearing is you needed to
mm,
surrender because I've been
yes,
there. I need to surrender instead of manipulating and cajoling and twisting and pushing and pulling and wrestling with the conditions that life is throwing at me. I need to surrender to them and like get out of the way.
yeah, and that's literally what I did.
Wow.
And then everything started to flow. The day after Christmas, literally everything started to flow.
Wow.
And I changed the name of my company. God brought
Okay.
that to me while I was in Word. I literally let everything go. I walked away and went and got in the Word of God, which is the number one book for business.
Mm.
I've gotten every business strategy from the Holy Spirit and God's Word.
Wow.
It is the number one book. I've read, a lot of books. It just takes me so long. But when I'm in God's word and the things that I write down, I'm like, who is this? That was a complete sentence and that actually sounds good.
Yeah.
So I know it's God.
Yeah.
I know it's God. And when I got that download, I was like, I came in and I told Catherine, I was like, Catherine, don't get mad. Cause I mean, I've got her on all these projects, right? And I'm always throwing stuff at her because she
Yeah.
just handles everything. She's amazing. And I said, don't get mad. We're going to change our branding. And she was like, oh no, because she had just finished like all of the
Branding.
branding stuff. And I was like, we're changing it. And she was like, okay. She just smiled, looked at me. She was, okay. I was like, God wants us to change it to rapid restoration. And she was like, I
Mm.
love it.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's the greatest restorer. And I'm fight battles with at a whole nother level of indoctrination and programming.
Yep.
And I was trying to fight it using the wrong words.
Mm.
And once I switched that word, and I would have never, Jesse, that would have never happened if I had done it on my own accord,
Yep. Yep.
you know?
I
Because
do
I
know.
was, this is the right thing. This is the right thing. And it's like, no, we had changed that, and then everything changed. It was like instead of dehydration, we say depletion, and instead of hydration, we say restoration because it's so misunderstood, and
Yes.
it affects everything you do.
Yes.
Everything you do.
Yes. We're going to do the L&M family member shout out. This goes to Chauncey Turney. Took the time to leave a super awesome review on the Google. It says, lean was a good training. We did some lean training. It says something unexpected to take back to my personal life and work life. This training with Jesse, expanding my knowledge and horizon of ways of thinking outside of the box and stepping into something new. Chauncey, thank you for taking the time and going out of your way to leave that review. And folks, if you don't already know, that's what I'm about. I'm here to help people do stuff that is valuable at home and at work, on and off the clock. And when you take the time to leave a comment, a review, a share, stars, any and all of the above, it's super, super awesome because it gives me an excuse to highlight you in the future.
Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something.
Come on, what you got?
When I say the word dehydration, what's the first thing you think?
The first thing I think is I shouldn't drink coffee all day.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'll get to that. I'll. This is good. The most people think I need to drink more water.
Ah, yes. Yeah, a
Okay.
good point. True, true.
Every hydration campaign, every heat stress summit, everything at every job site, there's cases and cases of water. You're not drinking enough water. The blame is put on the person for not drinking enough water.
Yep,
And I'm fighting that narrative because water, especially the water we drink, is
yep.
bottled.
Yes.
And when you drink bottled water, do what?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
We drink bottled or filtered water. Tap water's filtered. They filter, they clean it. Chemicals like fluoride and
Yep,
chlorine, right? all these things. Then we got the plastics that are in,
Yeah.
that's a big thing that everyone's talking about now, but I've talked about it like 40 years ago.
Right.
And I was like, plastic's got the estrogens in it. These people are just pounding themselves and then wonder why they, have all these hormonal things. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But it's like I've got one right here from our hotel. We didn't even use it because,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's filtered. It's filtered. And even your best waters are still go through a process or they're put in here. There is nothing in water that hydrates the body because
Mm.
the body isn't hydrated by H2O. It's hydrated by sodium.
Yep.
Sodium gets the water molecule into the body cell. So people are actually depleting themselves when
Mm.
they drink just this, right?
Yeah.
And you mix that with a poor diet. Now, if you've got a fantastic diet and you're not, you're not exerting yourself, like I'm a maniac when I work out. We'll have to do
Right.
a workout together.
Yeah.
I love sweat. I like it dripping off me. I mean, like last night, my husband came out in the garage and he was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's awesome."
We're working. We're
It's like
working here.
I love it when it's like flying off and you have to move the equipment because it's gross. But anyways, I love that,
Yeah.
and it's like an adrenaline thing for me. And if you're not sweating out water, you're sweating out electrolytes and sodium and all the things, right? That's why your
Yep.
clothes have that film on it and stuff. And we're not putting it back in. So
Yes.
that's why hydration's so misunderstood. We're the only country that tells people to drink bottled water to
Right.
hydrate.
I see.
Other countries, what do you think they do in other countries?
I have no idea.
How they hydrate in other countries? They eat fruit.
Ah.
I met with the guy that was in because they don't have heat stress problems in other countries like we
Okay.
do here. Because
Yeah.
we're shoving water bottles down people's throat and then we're drinking coffee. So let's get on the coffee thing. Coffee dehydrates you because not of loss of water, you lose 600 milligrams of sodium every cup of coffee.
Dang.
So
Okay.
what does that do? That's why your brain,
Yep.
sometimes after having coffee, you'll have brain fog because
Yep.
your brain runs on your body runs on electrical currencies, right?
Yes.
And so the sodium level plummets when you have caffeine. Dude, I do caffeine.
Right.
I love caffeine. I would do cocaine if I could, but it's illegal. I've never done drugs, by the way. I'm afraid
Right.
to do drugs. I'm a
Yeah.
wimp. No, as a kid, I was like, I don't want to do that. I'll get, I'll get in trouble. I don't like getting in trouble.
Right.
So,
Right.
but if it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
I'm joking, but
Of course. Of
you got to
course.
be careful because people will be like, oh my gosh, she just said she does scope.
Right.
Anyways, can you imagine this on that or you on
Yeah.
that? Forget about it.
Oh, no, I don't have to imagine. I've lived that life. I'm
Really?
almost 10 years so oh yeah. In June will be 10 years sober, but I spent a lot
I
of
love
time
that.
doing a lot of things to suppress and numb some stuff that I
Hmm.
had going on, but I came to terms with it. So yeah, I do not recommend it.
Yeah, but when you're in that space, there's no judgment on that because people you're doing it to cope. And
Yes.
that's what I talk about with safety professionals all the time is I go to these safety meetings and I do my spiel and the guys love me and I give them I'm a squirter sticker and
Yep.
and we have a lot of fun and I bring the energy and I bring the restoration and they feel better and all the things. And we're telling them not to drink, right? Alcohol. We're telling them not to, eat these things. We're telling them not to, do energy drinks, but they're still doing all that. Why? Not because they were like, I don't want to listen, because
Right.
they're trying to cope.
Yes.
They drink because they're trying to cope, and then they do the energy drinks because they're exhausted,
Yep.
you know, and they're trying to manage stress, which depletes you very fast,
Yep.
and it's daily. You got the
Yep.
family stress. You go to job sites,
Oh yeah.
exertion for 10 hours a day. I mean, these guys will literally work themselves to death.
Yes. I've multiple times. So two times I guess what is categorized as heat stroke, like passed
Yep.
on the job site from
Yeah.
dehydration, from overexertion. Also, I want to add, like I was hungover, right? I was drinking the night before,
Mhm.
went out to where we're in the sun
Yep.
and passed out. And I woke up a
Yeah,
couple hours later in the van, like with AC on. Like, what happened? They're like, dude, you passed out. It's happened to me twice. Dehydrated and
happens all the time.
pushing myself to the point where I was like in poor condition multiple times. Like before I got into construction and then in construction, because I didn't understand, right, like that I was depleted in what I
Mhm.
needed to restore. I was just
Yeah,
100 miles an hour, drinking water, drinking water, drinking water, and then bam, I
and making it worse.
right, it would get worse. Plus, there was other things in super hyper competitive nature of mine that I would neglect my nutrition, and
Well,
that
men, they
yep,
just operate. They get done. They get it done, especially in construction. And
yep,
they're not gonna. That's the thing I talk about all the time. Is only what the heat does. Is the heat is not the problem. What the heat does is it exposes the problem that shows up every day.
yes,
That's our mission. And at the core of it, the heat only exposes what shows up every day. Your incidences, your injuries, your hungover headaches,
yep,
and things that cause
fatigue, yep,
costly mistakes.
yep.
And it's all very expensive. Do you know that it's $100 billion a year problem in,
Oh,
in the
easy,
industry?
easy, yeah.
And and it's underreported. It's underreported and it's $100 billion a year problem. What does that tell you? It gets labeled other things. Oh, I have a headache. Let me get some Tylenol. Oh, I'm tired. Let me grab an energy drink. And what happens in that cycle is you're not deficient in energy drink. You're not deficient in Tylenol. You're deficient in sodium. You're deficient in potassium. You're deficient in electrolytes. You're deficient in the thing that balances everything out. And
Yeah.
that's why we have mental health problems
Mhm.
because you can't cope because you don't have the minerals help you manage, right?
Yep.
And we've got all of these, I call them hyped, like hyped sports drinks and packets that we're handing out like candy. And they've got synthetics in them, they've got dyes, they've got all these things that are actually compounding on the problem, but it's just accepted and it's not working. And we keep doing the same thing. And that's why I said that earlier. I was like, I'm controversial. I'm going to disrupt some things
Yeah.
because the system that we have in place for that is broken and it's
Correct.
been broken since the 1980s. If it was working, the numbers would be improving,
I agree.
not going up. And every year we have more deaths every year, and those are underreported because they get labeled under, oh, we had a heart attack, oh, we had this.
Yep.
All of that comes back to depletion.
Yes.
And if you have ability to restore somebody within 10 minutes or less when they come in hungover like you were, you give your crews access to something that you can't control the lifestyle. Nobody could have told you what to do. Nobody could have told you stop that, right?
Yep.
You had to choose that. And you got the uncontrollables of lifestyle, which most most people in construction, not everyone. You got some guys out there that take care of themselves, right? But
Yes.
majority of them, they're so busy they can't even think
Yeah,
straight,
other stuff
because
going on.
they're exhausted. And so if you can get access to something that can right away restore it without digestion, without anything, that's what did you get our stuff, by the way? I sent you some stuff.
Are you talking about this stuff?
Yes. That's what, yeah. So that was our system. That's part of our system. That's one of the, what we would call it, the RRD bundle. It's like a way to test things out. But anyways, if you can restore that, when I'm doing, yeah, those are the fast packs. Those are the prototype. We have a manufacturer they're gonna look so much cooler. And I think they're gonna be actually more like a stick. We just met with them yesterday, and I think we're gonna move forward with this new look. But anyways, and I think we might change it from fast pack to rapid pack, but we're
Yeah,
not.
so
We're still,
I got a
yeah,
super cool care package. Got the rapid restoration
rapid,
drops. I got the fast packs. It came in this
yeah.
super awesome little like safety kit. So
It's all
and then
about packaging.
I got
A
this,
mini,
right. So I got the hookup over here, sister.
but yeah, no, you need to because you travel a lot, and I'll tell you how to use it
Oh,
because
please.
it's not about flavor; it's about fuel. So we just teach people how to fuel their bodies for the environments they're in. It's so simple, but it's so difficult because people misunderstand it.
Yep.
And you can't change their lifestyle and you can't change the environment that they're in, like you confined spaces or whatever it is that they're working in, like your AC guys and stuff here in Texas, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We work with an AC company that got now for 4 years, and the first year he took it, brought us on. I was just getting started with this movement, and he was like, "This is the first year first summer where I didn't have the call-ins because they're sick, because they've been in a hot attic,
Yep.
losing everything. And you have to pull someone out of an attic. You know what that means, right?
Oh yeah, that's
So,
dangerous. I've been there. That's not a good
yes.
place to be.
And it happens fast. Because
Totally.
right now, what do? The protocol across the board is water, rest, shade. All those delay and nothing restores. It just
Yeah.
stops the bleeding and actually can make the bleeding worse in those conditions if this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you can't take a packet, shove it down someone's throat. They'll gag to death.
Yeah.
But you can squirt our stuff in their mouth and they'll come right back
Yeah.
in about 10 minutes or less. I
Wow.
got countless stories of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do because that's where my heart is. That's the heart of the mission is that man or that woman coming home to their family and having the ability to manage the house stuff, the kids, the baseball practices, and not just crash out because that's relationship.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it affects everything. My husband's a cop. I knew how to fuel him for the environments that he was in. You got mental stress, you got body stress. He's a Mexican, so he sweats a ton, you
Yeah.
know. Got the vest on and stuff. He hates the heat. It's so funny. But it's like, but I knew how to restore him and and fuel him for that environment. And so he was able to manage all the kid stuff and he was a great husband. And I want that for everyone. And
Yeah.
that's literally what started my company. And that's all I had to start it. I was like,
Really.
I do this for athletes. I've experienced it in my home. Now, how do I branch out? And then you know what JMAR did? That's what they call me because J Lo, my husband
It-
said, since Jennifer Lopez, J Lo, you're JMAR. Anyways, so that's been my nickname for 20 years now. And I I just started reaching out to people. I started reaching out to safety people. I didn't know what I was. I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't, but I
Hey, so
just knew
that's interesting. So you saw this opportunity around restoration. Of course, you came from
sports
sports
medicine.
medicine and you said, wait a minute, there's this thing. And then you said, let me go learn, figure
Yeah.
out. Like it was just that
Well,
curiosity.
when you're training football players, you've got these coaches and they're trying to keep them ready for Friday night, right?
Yep.
And they're walking around with gallon jugs. Well, my son was a football player,
Okay.
and I knew that that's why they're having all the cramps. That's why they're having them fall out and everything. By Friday, they have nothing in them because they're so depleted. They're sweat all week long in
All right. Yep.
practices, right? And you're talking like 2 hours in the heat. We got construction guys that are 10 hours in the heat or in the cold because they both
Easy.
deplete.
Yep.
That rhyme. I love a good rhyme. And sometimes I'm like, I know it has to rhyme. And I'm like, no, it doesn't always have to rhyme, JMAR. I'm like, yes, it does. I remember stuff that way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I tell this story. We were getting our roof done, and it was triple digit heat. The guys were like taking a break, and I went over to like the foreman guy, and I was like, hey, I've got this stuff I use with my athletes. I told them how to use it and stuff like that. And I said, if they want to use it, I'll give it to y'all. And the next day he came back and he was like, what was that stuff that you gave my guy? He's like, they were chatty Cathy. They functioned better. I said, oh, I just, give them what they were sweating out. Like I do, it's performance.
Right.
So I did it for performance, right? For athletes for performance. If if they came out and they had a cramp, I could just squirt it in their mouth and
Wow.
because what do they want? They want to just get back on the field. Or I would restore them along the way too, like your quarterback, so they can think better. Because when your sodium levels plummet, you have to be sharp, right?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so they would be able to get better performance. And so I just was like, man, the industrial world needs this. And then I just started looking up stuff, and I was like, and everything I was reading, I was like, this is a real problem.
Yeah.
And the water is not going to fix this.
Yeah.
And packets and Gatorade, I don't know if we can say that, but these sports drinks, let me put it that way.
There you go.
And they're grabbing them because they taste good, right?
Yep.
So I was like, all you got to do is just squirt our stuff in there, and then they'll at least make that thing work for them, right?
Yep.
But I didn't know the battles were going to be so hard in the sense of people not understanding the difference between ionic, naturally derived, synthetic, and how that works in the body. It's been a journey.
Yeah. Oh, I
It's been a
can.
journey.
I mean, that one, I applaud you because it's obviously right. Common sense. We got to replenish, restore our body for the depletion that happened. It's not just water that comes out of. And I know, I remember there were days when I used to come home, I worked for TD Industries, and so we had these blue denim long sleeve shirts, and then my jeans, and I would come
They're
home,
white.
yes, with salt stains, and I was like, hell yeah, I had a good day today, and so that's evidence, right? Visible evidence that there's more than just water coming out of my body. So
Yes.
I'm
And
incensed,
it's
yeah,
natural.
but what you're doing, this movement, I'm going to call it a movement. It's not just a product that you're coming to the
It is.
industry with, is going to challenge conventional thinking. It's challenging the norm, and that's the friction. It's not the fact that this is a great product that can help people. It's the
Right.
thinking that we have adopted and become accustomed to that you're
Yes.
up
Programming.
against. And so here's a quote, because the listeners out there, we deal with friction all the time. How do you get your head right so that you can get up again? Because you know it's not it, you got a lot more battles ahead of you. How do you get your head right to go again, to have the same arguments, to have the same friction? What do you do to get prepared and keep showing up? Because it would be easier for you to say, you know what, never mind, this is too much work.
Yeah, because we're 6 years in and I'm still fighting the same battles.
Yep.
How I've done it is I can't take credit for it myself, other than just like when you carry a heavy message that changes people's lives in a good way, you're going to get pushback. When the push gets really, really hard, like it did for me last year, that means you're right on the top of something. And so you have to just surrender, like you said, and go, God, where am I missing it? And this tension that I'm feeling tells me that I'm really close, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I can continue to do this in my own strength because it was wearing me out.
Yes.
It was wearing me out
Yes.
because I mean I have like people that are so much smarter than me, so much smarter than me, telling me I'm a quack and all this stuff, and I'm like, this stuff's been around for 50 years.
All right. This ain't
Like
new,
this is
man.
not new. You just don't know about it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We're not synthetic, we're natural.
Uh-huh.
God bent over, picked up dirt, and breathed life into it. He didn't water it. Water's important because it's a carrier, right?
It's a conduit. It can transfer. It's the vehicle to transfer other stuff.
And then we have all this hyped stuff out there that says all these things that it does, but then we're not getting the outcomes. But because they've got big bucks behind them, big bucks. I
Yeah.
fight lobbyists. You have no idea the battles I've had to fight, and I could not have done it without God's help because the Holy Spirit restored me every time. Because I was like, how do I say this different? How do I approach that different? The Holy Spirit's strategic, man. He's
Yep.
so strategic. He knows everything, and we don't pull on that enough. We try and do it on our own strength because,
Yes.
especially people like you and me, we're just we just do, and we need to just sometimes just pause and go, okay, God, how do you like we prayed before this? We wanted it to be led and help people. We wanted to make sure that whatever we were talking about was going to change someone's life in a great way, right?
Yes.
We invited that, and we don't invite it enough, and we don't get in God's word enough. And I believe that because that's the only thing that sustained me, because it's not by my might, because I'm like the worst student. I was like, I can't remember what I just said 5 seconds ago. I don't have any training in speaking, and I'm speaking and messing up.
Yeah.
I go too fast. I don't breathe enough or whatever. It's just, you just got to do, and then find your strength. And my strength comes from the Lord. And you know what? The reason why you and I are talking is because our values align.
Mhm.
And when that happens, when you have the right alignments, the assignments take care of themselves. And the world chases assignments too much. I chased alignments. And then I asked for discernment. God, is this a good alignment? And he's had to remove a lot of alignments. And it's been a really painful process because I'm like, oh, well, okay, Lord.
Yes.
And I've been burned so many times. And, that's just the world. You're going to have those things happen. And it's just how you deal with them, how you manage them.
Yep.
But you know what? I can manage them because I squirt.
Nice. Nice.
I'm a squirter and I squirt in everything. I have a shirt
like
that says
it.
I squirt and everything. It gets a lot of attention at job sites.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I think that's like brilliant marketing because
Thank you.
they're
I came
not
up
gonna
with it.
forget that.
I came up with it one day when we were talking about something, and I was like, just squirt in this, squirt in that, squirt, because we figured out that a squirt was a serving,
Okay.
and I was like, because I was saying like I would just squirt it in their mouth and then they would chase it with fluids. It doesn't taste good, but you'll feel good in about 10 minutes.
Right.
You'll feel awake. You'll be able to function. I had an EHS professional that had our bottle on his desk. He worked for a manufacturing company and they work in high heat. And these guys are standing in front of furnaces and it's miserable.
Yep.
And one of the guys was in full on heat stroke, and
Woo.
we had just met, and so I sent him, some products just for him to test out and try and stuff. He goes, we had EMS on the way. The guy was full on heat stroke, and he goes, I remembered you, and I went and grabbed that bottle, and he said, and I just started squirting in his mouth. He goes, I went through a half a bottle, Jen. He was like, I was like, you know what? It's at least I have something.
Yeah.
And he said, not kidding. He was like, he was up and walking around before EMS even got there,
Wow.
and he was like, this guy was bad. He's
Yeah.
like, he goes, this was not going to be a good outcome. He was convinced of it. And so when you experience something at that level and you're in that field because you care about people, you don't go into safety because you want all the stress safety gets. Like safety job is the hardest job.
I
I
agree.
could never do it.
It's tough.
I tell
It,
that to
yeah.
them all the time.
Yeah.
They got people coming from this way. They got people coming from this way. They got people coming from this way and this way. And then they have to have this thing. They're doing this stuff. And then they have to be in the field. And then this happens. And then they have to deal with this. And they have to they're constantly berated
Yeah.
from every angle, literally. And then, did you get that paperwork done? It's like, I've been running around. No, it's an impossible job.
Yeah.
So if you're in it, you care about people.
You
And
need.
so
Yes.
we give them a tool. I had one safety lady that she's like, I used to carry around salt packets from McDonald's
Mm-hmm.
because she's like, it's at least that, and that's a horrible salt. Like it's not even, it's been chemicalized and everything, but it was better than
No.
packets,
Right.
it was something. She was like, I was trying to find something because it's scary when it starts happening. There was a guy that's on Instagram that I get a lot of guys sharing videos with me. They love the TikToks and all this stuff. And I have a lot of really, really great relationships with a lot of the crews and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got a one a couple years ago. Have you seen the one with the guy's like, if you're not sucking on nuts, then you're gonna be, it's hot out here and you need to be sucking on nuts. And I was like, I need to get with the nut guy because I can make him squirt and he makes him suck nuts. We're a perfect match.
That would be an awesome collaboration. And here's,
I know.
I get like the joke, right? I get that. But what's more valuable and really important is it's going to stick in people's memory. And
That's the only reason why I do it.
you've already said,
I
and
tell that to everyone when they try and pull that professional thing. I'm like, listen, the buy-in at the guys level, if they have that sticker and they're making jokes, I love that because they're thinking different.
yes,
And they know they have access to something that they're going to use. And it's not going to be about flavor. It's going to be about, wait, I'm feeling low. Let me squirt and go. I've got so many things. Like we've got like, if you're hurting, you better be squirting.
yep,
If you're not squirting, then you're hurting. Like we got all sorts of stuff.
love it.
And then,
Yeah,
and so, but they're doing it.
yes.
That buy-in
That's
is
the
easy.
point. Is it changing behavior? Yes or no? If it is, get over yourself. We're trying to save
Yeah.
lives out here. You use the language industrial athletes.
Yes.
Where did that come from? I love it, but where did that come from? What does it mean?
Well, I worked with athletes for 20 years
Yeah.
and I never had to get an athlete. They were coming to me because of the performance, because I knew how to fuel them
Yep.
for the environment they were in, because the athletes are the most disciplined people you ever meet. And even they struggled with diet and what they were putting in their bodies and sleep. Because I mean, like when they're zoned in and they're in season, they'll do what they need to. As soon as the season's over, they're getting the pancakes, the pizza that you right, and all those things hurt because this is the hardest thing to control
Yep. Oh yeah.
is what goes in. We want those things and they're good. And I never said you couldn't have them. I just said if you want this kind of performance in this season, you need to do these certain things. And we've got athletes that will do that for only a season for a 1 hour performance, right? So they can have
Yep.
an edge. But then and we're expecting grown men with families and stressors and life and a hard environment, working environment to do those things.
Yep.
It's like, are you kidding me? They're eating out of a roach coach. They're getting 7-Eleven. They're grabbing whatever they can. They're,
Yep.
they're they're going through 5 or 6 energy drinks a day. I had one safety guy go, "We don't sell those on my crews don't do that." And I'm like, dude, it's in their truck. Just like they
Right.
don't drink beer when they leave.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I had a superintendent tell me, he goes, "You just told them that those things dehydrate them and they deplete them. If you can, stay away from it." And then in the next breath, you're saying, "But if you're doing it, make sure you're squirting in your coffee. Make sure you're squirting in your energy drink. Make sure you're squirting in your beer." And he's like, "You just told them it was okay to drink beer." And I was like, "No, I didn't. We're not going to change their habits.
Right.
But you know what does change habits? When you feel good."
Yes.
And that's what I did as a trainer. I make people feel good first, and then I would
Yeah.
introduce
Yeah.
certain habits and say, "Now reintroduce that and tell me how you feel." Because
Yeah.
if you can affect how someone feels,
They'll remember.
game changer.
Yep. Yep.
You know
100%.
that.
I
You're
do.
great. You're able to operate. You don't beat yourself up for what you were doing to your body back then because you've been redeemed of that, right?
Yep.
It was a process that you went through, and it had to start with either God pulling you out of it. It wasn't just like cold turkey, and
Yeah. No.
unless
No.
God's involved.
It's a progressive experience, and I'm saying this from converting to my sober life. Now, part of the work that I do is help leaders and organizations deploy change.
Yes.
It's the same principle in what you're talking about. We will not change our behavior until two things. One, the pain of staying the same exceeds the pain of change, and or we experience the value of the change, right? And
Yes.
so
And they're both hard.
they're both very, very difficult because you could tell me all day long, Jesse, you shouldn't do that. I'm going to say, whatever, I'm fine until, right? And so
Yep.
doing a squirt into my coffee, into the energy drink or whatever, like that's
Yeah.
not a heavy lift. But if I feel better, what that
It
means is
changed.
I've experienced the value. And then I'm going to be like, oh, wait a minute, I like that value. I want to do more of it. Can I now? Maybe I don't need the energy drinks anymore because I'm feeling better with the squirt. It's the same thing with all things, right? All my exes will tell you that I don't like to change because guess what? I don't.
Nobody does.
But once I experience the value of doing things, I'll give you a perfect example. And this is a shout out to my super awesome assistant, Erin. I could handle everything. I'm doing all the things and da 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 da. Got me an assistant, and she's like, Jess, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. You don't need to do that. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I could still do it. And then after the first week she did it, I was like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, here's some more. Here's some more. Here's some more. And so, but I had to like, how should I say this? Intellectually, I know and understand that there's value in me not doing every stupid little thing. But
Hmm.
I didn't trust it until I experienced the value. And so
You had to surrender.
what's that?
You had to surrender.
Exactly. And I want to go back to that point, right? Like, and I'm gonna muddy the water a little bit because I think it's important. Whether you're religious or not, whatever your faith is or whatever, but you're experiencing the extreme friction. The number one thing, a lot of folks talk about the 12 steps and how people go to the 12-step program to find God. And then from there, like, I think there's some truth there. For some people, it turns into them finding religion and there's different things. For me, the thing that I found out was that I'm not God. And every time I try to behave as if I am, everything is freaking hard. When I
You're
surrender,
not in control.
when I release control, when I surrender and share my gifts and talents in service to others,
Yes.
everything works out. Everything
Everything does.
works out. Which is why I say or identify as a selfish servant. Because sure, I do a lot of stuff in service to others, but you know why? Because of the joy, the contentment, the fulfillment that I've learned to experience from serving others. So it is, yeah, I'm totally a servant. and I'm doing it for selfish reasons. So it keeps the ball rolling for me. Time out. Because if you're anything like most leaders I talk to, your schedule is ultra packed. But somehow the most important things get neglected. And that most important thing is you. You're juggling projects, people, deadlines, and meetings. And somewhere in there, your own priorities get pushed aside. They get on the someday list. That's exactly why I created the Self-First framework. It's a simple system designed to help leaders create space in their schedule to focus on the most important and impactful things and execute consistently without burning out. I put together a free live training where I break down how the framework works and how you can start applying it like right now. So if you're curious, there's a link in the show notes where you can check it out. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. I get it. I believe we have a lot of power in what we say.
Yes.
And so I don't see you as a selfish person. To me, that's a negative thing.
Agreed.
I understand what you just explained.
Yep.
And so that's why I addressed it in the beginning, because I was just like, wow, like a servant's heart, a servant leader is someone that has compassion for others and empathy for others. And it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to be in that space.
Yes.
And so it does benefit you because you're doing God's work, but it's hard to do. I always just say, I talk about choose your hard. Our pastor did a thing on it one time.
It doesn't matter what you pick.
Like,
it's going to be hard. Choose your hard. Yes.
Choose your heart. It's hard not to work. It's hard to work. It's hard to make money. It's hard not to have money. One of them has more benefits to them, but they're both hard.
Yeah.
One, you get stuck. One, you move forward, but they're both hard. And one might be even harder than the other, and it's not even a work thing. Because I think the worst thing I could have done is quit last year.
Yeah.
Because I had a situation last year at one of the job sites. I had to go and pick up a case of our stuff because it wasn't being used, and they weren't paying. They didn't pay for it. And I was with the safety guy, and he was really upset about it because like they have budgets and stuff like that, right?
Right.
And I said to him, and he's about to pay. You can tell the guys that get respect from the crews.
Yeah.
That he had really good relationships with them, and he was just different. And I've told him that the first moment when I met him, I'm like, you're different, and we just connected on a different level, right? And we've had a lot of conversations since then. But I said, I'm not taking this box because you care about them, and it's hot.
Yep.
I don't care about making money on this. I care about them out there. And that is, in a season that I was in, we didn't have 2 cents. But I did what was right.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I just knew, I was like, God will honor this because it's the right thing to do. It's not the world. The world would say you're foolish. The world would say that's not business.
Yep.
That's not how things operate. And, we have a great relationship to this day. He's now with a different company, and he's bringing me into that. And God is honoring that I did the right thing. Because it bothers me. When I leave a place and leadership doesn't get it, and all the guys, because when we show up, we give them shots. They taste horrible. They're only in 2 or 3 ounces, little Dixie cups. Sometimes they're like pink and blue and stuff. I'm like, come on, don't be a sissy. Come get it. If you want a sticker, you're gonna have to try it. You have to get a shot. I know you drink tequila. This isn't as bad as tequila.
Come on, man. Yo.
It tastes salty. You can do it. It's just salty. Don't be a baby. And like some of them will go like that. I'm like, you're still gonna taste it. It's gonna get you. Anyways, we have a lot of fun. But they come up to me and like, how safety meetings, like they're off, and then they disperse and they do their thing.
Yep.
I can't get them away. They're like coming up and they're talking to me and they're like, I was so hungover. I feel so good. Can I get another shot? And it's like the same person was just fighting me saying, oh, it's salty,
Right.
And it's not all sodium's the same. We don't have to talk about that, but these are the things and then when I get to the leadership, and leadership's like, well, we do this instead. And I'm like, wow, these guys aren't going to get access to it.
Yeah.
It's not about the sale of that system that I provide. I grieve, and that's what made me quit.
Yeah.
That those guys that I just interacted with are not going to get access to something
Yeah.
You have no idea how much I've given away to people like that because it changes the game because they can be the person that they're restored. They feel balanced. We have kidney disease in Texas alone. We were ranked number one in the world in the nation, not the world, sorry, in the nation.
Wow.
And everyone I talk to, they're like, well, they're just not drinking enough water. And I'll say, no, that's the problem. They're actually pushing out the potassium that their body needs with the water.
Yeah.
They're probably drinking gallons of water and it's not fixing it. It's making it worse. It's fueling that problem. And we have countless stories about people with the potassium that's in our stuff because it's not synthetic. It's derived. And it's made in the USA. It's not made, it's derived.
Right.
Nothing synthetic in our stuff. That's why it works so fast because our bodies aren't synthetic and your kidneys need potassium to function. And
Yes.
when they're functioning, then your blood sugar works. And
Yeah.
then when your blood sugar's balanced, you don't have heart disease. It's all connected.
Right. Right.
And they're not getting it from their diet. And then they're washing it out. And then we wonder why there's literally a kid dialysis clinic on every corner. So
Yeah.
I fight those battles. And you know what I mean by that.
I do. I
Because
do. I applaud you for like sticking through it. I applaud you for surrendering and doing the redirection, the repackaging, rebranding, because it's important work. And it's easier. Like I know, sister, it's easier to just not do it. And you could go do a million other things. There's no doubt in my mind. But what I'm picking up on is that you are compelled to have an impact on the industry and on the
yes,
construction industry, and we
it's the
need it.
bones of
We
our
need a bunch of other people. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of folks out there, like you said.
military,
We
police,
we go, we build, we install things. The industrial athletes out there that are building and maintaining our environment need
for
access.
10 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Need to be restored, and you're out there doing that. So if somebody wanted like to connect with you, learn more about the restoration and the squirting, where should they go, Miss Jennifer?
I love it. I love it. I should have worn my squirting shirt for you. I thought about it. I was like, no, I'm going to look pretty today because it's just a t-shirt.
Yeah,
We have a scripture on our t-shirt, but we're squirters.
nice.
We're Squirt Squad. So JMAR Solutions. So it's JMAR dot solutions on like Instagram.
Okay,
And then we're jmarsolutions.net on the internet. So it's not .com because we weren't cool enough to get the com. Uh,
got it. Got it.
we had to go with who else is going to have JMAR Solutions? I'm like, really? Is a company in Houston. They're not even a company anymore. And I'm like, I didn't
But
get
they
the
have a
com.
name. Yeah, I know it. It's tough out there.
And so, and then, my Facebook, I got rid of the Facebook page because I couldn't figure out how to work it. So I just connected it to my personal page because this is all I do,
Got it.
and I don't have anything to hide. I
Yeah,
just want to be able to get the message to people so that they don't have to suffer.
yeah,
And that's the calling, and it's heavy. It's
yeah.
heavy. And that's why I'm talking to you because God brings people into your life that support you and to like you can't do anything alone.
Oh,
You have to do it through people. And everything happens through relationships. Transactional is the world, relational is God. And that's our core values. I will never falter from that because if you don't have that as a base, everything's going to crumble,
yep.
you know,
Yes, 100. Oh my
'cause
gosh.
I'm going to mess it up
Yeah, yes. And that's the thing. We will get in our own way. Like just all I gotta
all
do
the time.
is not get in my way and things are gonna be good. Oh my goodness. Okay. Are you ready for the Grand Slam question, Miss Jennifer?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm excited because I know you're a woman of faith. You are compelled to take on a massive, massive undertaking. You've been called and you're not ignoring the call. I'm really excited about what your answer is going to be. So here it is. What is the promise you are intended to be?
The promise I'm intended to be. My my best is when I'm encouraging others. And I struggle with discouragement because of that. When you struggle with this, whatever your strength is, right? Use what you're hit with the most. So to speak strength in life and vitality into others. Does that answer the question?
I think it does, but let me give you a little more context. I
Okay.
think it does. The reason I asked the question that way is because I was in rehab the last time. I've been in rehab multiple times. This last time that I was there, I had one of the counselors tell me, Jesse, your problem isn't admitting, your problem is accepting. And I said, what are you talking about? Like, he's like, yeah, you get up in the meetings, you say, hi, I'm Jesse, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict. That's admitting. Like, okay. He says, what you haven't accepted, it is if you continue to live life the way you're living it, you will never become the promise you're intended to be.
And God's promises are yes and amen. And we get in the way of that all the time.
Yes, yes.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me. Oh man, that's huge. I think the world calls it having a purpose,
Hmm?
but I really think its promise is so much better. I love that, Jesse. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that. When your identity is in Christ, there's nothing that anybody can say or do in this world or anything that can happen that can falter that. And so if you know who you are and you've accepted, that was so good, the promises of God. And there's 365 of them for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh man. So not purpose, but promise is to be the hands and feet of God and restore. He's the greatest restorer, so I can't do it on my own accord, but be the vessel that he can use to do that. Because the family is, we talk about culture all the time at work. What happens at home carries into work. And if you have someone leaving every day depleted, and then we've got mental health issues, we have awarenesses and all these things, and everybody's aware, but nobody's wanting to provide a solution, because when it's provided, it's like, well, that's not how we do things. It's like, this is weird. It's just weird to me, because minerals help you manage, and it's intentional that we have the foods that we have, and that we grab the things that we do, and because it's easy, it's access, and you're just exhausted. So if I could get people to understand the movement is not about a product, it's about people
Yeah.
and restoring the home life, because it's so important. My husband is my world. We're going to be married 30 years next
Ooh,
year.
congratulations.
And there's no way I could have done any of this without that man.
Mm.
And I surrendered career for my kids because they were the greatest gift that God ever gave me. And it was hard because I'm very driven. If you're in my presence for like an hour or two, I exhaust people because I'm just like living with that. That man should get a trophy for living with me. But I was like, okay, I've got my first kiddo. I was like, I got this baby. My schedule went from like, because I was in radio, and so I was doing all these promotions. I was working with the Dallas Cowboys. I was doing all this stuff, and that was my life, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't want to. I'm not going. Nope, nobody can. This is the greatest gift. It changed my life forever.
Yeah.
And I surrendered it. And then I was able to do training when they got a little bit older, and so I had a little side gig, but it never took from my family. And I prioritized that because I believe we honor God, then we honor our spouse, and then we honor our kids, and then everything else. And it's not an easy choice because we didn't have the things that we could have had if I was working.
Right.
But man, my kids, I didn't miss a thing, right?
Yeah.
And now, now my son works for me. He was the tech guy that was trying to fix the audio problems we were having. I get so excited when I think of that, and it's like it's my world. And he's actually getting to work with me, and like he's my world. My kids are my world, and so I know I went off on a tangent, and you got to go, but it's like I just want people to understand that when you restore someone and it restores the family, the whole culture shifts, and the companies we've worked with have seen it. And they say anecdotal. I'm like, no, man,
Yeah.
it's not anecdotal.
Yeah. That's
If anybody's around me when I haven't eaten, my husband will, don't ask mom anything. Like, don't, it's going to be no, and it's going to be bad, because what do? We dump on our family, like I like food. And and so if I'm hungry, I'm not going to be a nice person. And if we can get someone to be able to restore what the day depletes and then go home and manage the family better, it's a game changer because you dump on the closest people to you.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've dumped on my husband. And my husband never did that. He never brought the job home with him because he was able to manage it. He's not perfect, but he was able to manage it because I knew how to fuel him for that environment. And it's so simple, but it's been such a ride.
No, I
And it's
love
still
it.
going, buddy.
It's still going.
I love you too. I love your spirit, and thank you so much. You have been such a blessing, such a joy. I love your smile, and I'm grateful to be aligned with someone like yourself that knows the battle, has persevered through it, chose your hard, and is benefiting by helping others do the same. Because that's our promise, that's our
Yes.
purpose, that's all the things, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh my
It's so
goodness.
rewarding. It's so
Well,
rewarding.
it's just the beginning. I know we're going to have more conversations in the future, some live interactions and stuff. So,
You're not getting rid of me.
yeah, nice. So, did you have fun?
I did. Of course I did. This thing didn't stop.
Yeah, it's good. There's plenty of energy. I think, like, just to remind everybody that's still listening, JMAR Solutions is here to restore the whole person, the industrial athletes out
Mhm.
there, and the connection, the through line is not just replenishing the depletion, it's also sending the whole person home to be a better person, a better version of themselves for everybody in their world.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the work that you're doing, Miss Jennifer, and we'll figure out how to keep that dream alive.
We'll do something together. We need to get on a stage together. People would love it.
Oh, yes. Oh, I agree. Before you go, I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. Your time and attention mean a ton, and it's because of listeners like you that this podcast even exists. If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to subscribe to the Learnings and Missteps podcast so you never miss an episode, and you get extra credit if you share it with your friends. Also, if you want even more insights on leadership, personal growth, communication, all those fancy magical things, you can sign up for my newsletter on LinkedIn because I got a newsletter that goes out every single Monday. All the resources I share there are designed to help you put yourself first so that you can leave this world better than you found it. There's also a digital copy of my book, Becoming the Promise You're Intended to Be. And it's sitting there waiting for you on my website. All you got to do is do the click and do the download, and you get the free PDF. And if you want even more bonus points, share that PDF with somebody you know or the family of somebody you know that is currently struggling with self-destructive behavior. That would be the ultimate gift for me. While you're there, do some exploring of the trainings, workshops, and services that are designed to enhance your performance at home and at work. Just click the link in the show notes to check it out. Thanks again for listening. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.